I had to smoke it out. This means everything to me. Big mama. Baby, I'm a fight for it. Baby, I'm a fight for it. Baby, I'm a fight for it. Fight for it.
Luther thought she could get away with murder by calling it protection. This isn't just a story about a shooting. It's about the psychology of control, the pattern of abuse, and the one decision that cost a mother of 4 her life. But before we get to that final moment, you need to understand who these 2 women were. Because nothing about that night makes sense unless you see the pattern that led there.
I'm the realest in the city, yeah, you probably heard of me. I be fucking all you beings so steady.
Marsha Luther called herself the baddest statty, a combination of stud and daddy. And if you think that was just social media nonsense or nickname, think again. Her Facebook was a public outcry of bitterness, posts about cheating exes, threats thinly disguised as jokes, and one that should have been a massive red flag. Cheating on me knowing Cincinnati don't solve murder cases is crazy to me. She posted that months before Tara Lynn died. Marsha branded herself as a realtor, a rapper, a boss lady. But people who knew her whispered the truth. She worked at Subway. The hustle was a performance. The confidence was a mask. And underneath it all was someone who couldn't handle rejection. When relationships ended, Marsha didn't just move on. She simmered. And when the last woman tested her patience, she swore the next one wouldn't walk away so easily. Tragically, that next woman was Tara Lynn Bowers, 29 years old. Mother of 4. She'd been reading since she was 3 years old, grew up singing in church choirs, and loved pink and white, the colors that would later fill the sky at her memorial. By August 2025, Tara Lynn was finally getting her life together. She'd enrolled in LPN classes to become a nurse. She was building confidence, stability, a future. Her best friend said she was on the up and up. And when she met Marsha at the beginning of 2025, she thought maybe, just maybe, she'd found someone who wouldn't play games with her heart.
She was the life of the party. Everybody loved her. She loved everybody.
She's just a lovable person, like literally. Like you can look at her as another big sister.
Dejanay Irvin says Tara Lynn Bowers was her best friend.
She just got back in school for LPN. She was taking classes. She just got on track with her children.
Tara Lynn was supposed to be in her happy season. She had 4 kids depending on her, nursing school applications submitted, and a fresh start waiting. So why did she keep going back to the one person everyone told her to leave? The answer is going to make you question everything you think you know about abusive relationships. For the first 3 months, their relationship looked like love. Pictures at Jeff Ruby's steakhouse, birthday celebrations, late-night conversations. Marsha's family even approved, telling Tara Lynn they were happy she'd found someone solid. Tara Lynn herself said, "She don't play at all." She had no idea that was the most tragic thing she could have said. By March, the cracks started showing. Arguments escalated, screaming matches, verbal abuse, then physical. But like so many toxic relationships, they'd break up, cool off, and get back together. Over and over. A cycle that looked exhausting to outsiders, but felt normal to them. By August 30th, less than 24 hours before Tara Lynn would die, they were back together again. If any of this sounds familiar, if you've ever been in a relationship where the highs feel amazing, but the lows get darker every time, I need you to check the link in the description. I created a guide called Love Shouldn't Hurt, a survival guide to spotting red flags and escaping abuse before it turns deadly. It breaks down every psychological pattern Marsha was using. August 30th, around 9 p.m., a themed party in Cincinnati. Friends showed up in slumberwear, music playing, everyone trying to have a good time. Then Marsha showed up. The energy in the room died. They left the party around midnight, went to a friend's house, and stayed there until the early morning hours. Sometime between 3 and 4 a.m., they went back home to Marsha's place. And that's when it happened. An argument erupted. Witnesses say it was about a situation that happened out of town, something involving Marsha's other girlfriend. Tara Lynn's sister quoted a news video saying, "What led up to the argument is this girl and her girlfriend trying to hurt my nephews. That Alexis girl was not innocent at all. She was very jealous of my sister." When I say Marche painted a picture like she was this sweet person on her she and wanted the best for my sister when she came around, I just didn't believe none of it. I don't know. Something always seemed sketchy about a Bith who swears she is a realtor but works at Subway. The details about the cause of their argument are murky, but the intensity wasn't. It got loud. It got ugly. And finally, Terralyn did what her family had been begging her to do for months. She left. Walk away from the drama. This is where everything changes. Terralyn walked out. The argument was over. She could have gone anywhere. A friend's house, home to her beautiful kids, her sister's place, a hotel. She had options. But then her phone rang. Marche wanted her to come back. She said they could settle their differences, that they could rest, that everything would be okay. And Terralyn, tired, wanting peace, wanting to believe that this time would be different, turned around and went back. According to Terralyn's sister Adrienne, who spoke to witnesses, this is what happened next. Terralyn walked through the door, and instantly, within seconds, shots rang out. One bullet. To the head. No warning. No time for another argument. No chance to defend herself. No avenue for reconciliation. Cincinnati Fire Department rushed to the scene and tried to save her. But Terralyn Bowers was already gone. Marche Luther was arrested within hours. And when she appeared in court the next day, she did something that shocked everyone. She pleaded not guilty and claimed she was defending herself. If someone leaves your house during an argument, then you call and ask them to come back, and then you shoot them the second they walk in. Is that self-defense? Or is that something else entirely? I need your perspective in the comments because this is where the legal battle gets insane. Cincinnati Police Homicide Unit moved fast. Marche was booked into Hamilton County Jail just before 2 a.m. on September 1st. By Monday morning, she was in front of Judge Samantha Silverstein. Her attorney argued for a $100,000 bond at 10%. Said Marche had no criminal record, had lived in Cincinnati her whole life, wasn't a flight risk. Prosecutors asked for $500,000. They pointed out that Terralyn was unarmed. She only had mace, that the shooting happened seconds after she entered the home, that Marche had invited her back. Judge Silverstein made her decision. No bond. Marche Luther would stay behind bars.
Prosecutors say 25-year-old Marche Luther shot and killed her ex-girlfriend, 29-year-old Terralyn Bowers. And today in court, prosecutors argued for a high bond, saying the two women were in a verbal dispute that escalated to Bowers being shot and killed. They say the victim didn't have a firearm, only mace. There's no word on what led up to the argument. Luther pleaded not guilty to murder. Luther's attorney asked the judge to consider a bond of $100,000 at 10%. Her attorney says there's a lot more to this story and that Luther was defending herself.
I would just note again, she's got absolutely no history. She's lived in the area for her entire life. There's nothing to suggest that she is a flight risk. We would ask the court to consider a bond of $100,000 at 10%, and then obviously she can comply with any non-monetary conditions.
While Marche sat in jail, Terralyn's family was falling apart. Her sister Adrienne went online and didn't hold back. Told my sister to leave this ugly alone. She was always too trigger happy. This wasn't no accident. You don't accidentally shoot somebody in the head right as they're walking in. She exposed Marche's lies too. Something always seemed sketchy about someone who swears she's a realtor but works at Subway. She went ahead to post, "My sister wasn't surrounded by anybody who loved her when she was dying, and it makes me so mad. All I could do was stand outside while she laid on someone's floor for hours, dead. I just want to hold my baby so bad. I need her here with me. My heart is heavy and I'm filled with nothing but anger. Never thought in a million years my sister would be gone." The grief was raw. The anger was righteous. And the question everyone kept asking was the same one the prosecution would have to answer in court. How do you defend yourself against someone you asked to return? Marche's defense team is betting everything on Ohio's self-defense laws. In Ohio, you can use deadly force if you reasonably believe you're in imminent danger of death or great bodily harm. But there's a catch. If you provoke the confrontation, you lose that protection, unless you can prove you tried to withdraw from the fight and your attacker kept coming. So the question becomes, did Marche provoke this by calling Terralyn back? Or was she genuinely afraid when Terralyn walked through that door? The case hasn't gone to trial yet. Marche Luther is still sitting in Hamilton County Jail or probably out on bond because Terrelyn's best friend posted something that triggers anger. She wrote, "That Bith bonded out, I'm on fucking fire." On 9th October, she posted, "I hate the system, they failing my best friend. I'm ready to take matters into my own hands. I miss my girl so fucking bad." I can't confirm if this is true, but we hope justice is served, because Terrelyn's 4 children are growing up without their mother. And the legal system is trying to decide whether those 5 seconds after Terrelyn walked through the door were murder or self-defense. But there's one more thing you need to know about this case, something that changes how you look at the entire story. Do you think someone can genuinely feel threatened by a person they invited back into their home? Or is fear just the excuse people use when they've already made up their mind to hurt someone? Serious question. Drop your take below. Here's the twist. This wasn't the first time Marche had threatened violence. Months before Terrelyn died, Marche posted on Facebook, "Cheating on me, knowing Cincinnati don't solve murder cases is crazy to me." That wasn't a joke. That was a warning. Marche had built an entire persona around being untouchable. The baddest statty, the one who didn't take disrespect, the one who controlled the narrative. But on August 31st, when Terrelyn tried to leave, Marche couldn't handle it, so she called her back. Not to talk, not to rest, but to make sure Terrelyn never walked away again. Terrelyn's death isn't just a tragedy, it's a pattern. In 2025, domestic violence drove 16% of Cincinnati's homicides, triple the typical rate. More than 131 people died in domestic violence cases across Ohio, a 62% increase in just 2 years. And the saddest part? Most of these deaths follow the same script: an argument, a breakup, a call to come back and talk, and then violence. The day after Terrelyn died, her family held a balloon release. Pink and white balloons, her favorite colors, drifted into the Cincinnati sky. Her 4 children stood there holding onto strings, releasing symbols of a mother they'd never get back. Her best friend Dejanai said she had a heart, a good heart, a good heart. Her sister Adrienne said, "I can't see my sister no more, so I want her to suffer." Can't confirm if Marche Luther sits in jail, as at the time of this video, waiting for her trial, but however she maintains her innocence. Claims self-defense, believes she'll walk free. But the evidence doesn't lie, the timeline doesn't lie, and the contradiction at the heart of this case is one no jury can ignore. You can't claim you were defending yourself if you're the one who made the call. And here's the haunting part about this case. Terrelyn had already escaped. She was out. She was safe. The argument was over. She could have called her sister, stayed with a friend, gone anywhere. But Marche Luther knew exactly what to say to get her back. "Come back. We'll settle this. We can rest." Rest. That word. That promise of peace. That's what abusers do. They don't just use violence. They use hope. They weaponize your exhaustion, your desire for things to be normal, your belief that maybe, just maybe, this time will be different. We covered these and more in the ebook. Marche didn't call Terrelyn back because she wanted to talk. She called her back because she couldn't stand the idea of Terrelyn leaving on her own terms. And when Terrelyn walked through that door, believing in one last chance at peace, Marche made sure she never got the chance to leave again. The bullet wasn't fired in self-defense. It was fired in control. Because for
I won't ever let you go. You're my everything and more.
Man, I miss my grandma, man.
I could never let you
smoke it out.
This means everything to me.
Big mama.
Baby, I'ma fight for it. Baby, I'ma fight for it. Fight for it.
But you can't never get another big mama.